Hello, everybody. How you doing? Can you hear me? How you doing? Nice to see you. Wait, why did I do that? Okay, we're back. We're here. That's bizarro. Okay, audio seems like it should be fixed up properly now. Let's get into it. But can you see everything? Can you hear everything? Is it all working? Just want to try and make sure we get everything. You don't want to have to make any changes while the stream's going. But everything from my end looks like it should all be working, so I don't want to pull things up. Let's get right into it. Also, there's pizza here? Who told you that? I don't think we can yet deliver pizza from Twitch streams. But, okay, we're in the new Canto, which means the max level is now 45. Nobody's even close to that. But hopefully we'll get something in here. Now, 6-1. I've got a lot of theories about this one. I posted most of them on my Tumblr, but I'll repeat them if they end up being right or wrong. And, oh, we got some narration. Come back, Heath, to the manor where the last vestiges of its beauty remain in its violet flowers. To the manor where its storm-broken beach has siphoned all that was once warm. To the manor that gives you not only life, but also scorn and desolation. I don't know, unpopular opinion maybe, I don't want to come here. This kinda sounds like a bad place to go on vacation. To the manor where your place was the frozen corner that couldn't be further from return from the moors. Huh, yeah, I think Heathcliff was a sailor at one point, so it's kinda funny they put this right after Canto 5. It's time for you to come home. So this is what T-Corp's nest looks like. Yeah, it's kind of old-timey looking, which makes sense because this is the time one. We had surprisingly little trouble making it past the nest's borders. I guess my concerns were unfounded. To be fair, we had to fight our way through in Canto 3. Not unfounded. Oh, somehow we made it through the nest checkpoint without any trouble. Ahem! 'Tis nothing! Forsooth, such wild compliments are unnecessary, says I. But we didn't say anything. She's grown so much. Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty impressed at Dawn for making it through a border without causing a scene. Everyone seemed awfully relaxed having just entered a different nest. I guess everyone's gotten used to this by now. Humdrum, routine, I guess they'd be the words to describe the general sentiment among the sinners. Except for one, that is. Heathcliff. We're headed to this place called Wuthering Heights next, right? I could tell from Heathcliff's grum expression that his mind was weighed down with all kinds of complicated concerns. Huh? Yeah. Though his eyes were staring at the moving scenery past the windows, his mind was affixed on something that his eyes couldn't see, something that lay beyond the building walls. Wuthering Heights. That manor must have been built on one windy hill, huh? Yeah, bloody Wuthering like its namesake. I never knew comfort as long as I was there. Hi, Dale, nice to see you, how you doing? Heathcliff's voice carried an unusually dark tone. The other sinners on the bus noticed this and began chatting him up. We're in a new chapter of the story, and it's based on the book Wuthering Heights, if you've ever read it. Our return to one's homeland must bring forth quite a tangled mess of emotions. Very confused because I slept for 6 hours and woke up at 10 p.m. How the hell does that happen? May have read it. It's pretty interesting. Kinda confusing, but, it's a pretty good book. I recommend it. I just read it a little bit, 2 days ago. Return to one's... Oh, right, yeah, I read this one. Homeland. Well, I wasn't born here. I was raised here. I suppose that could still count as a homeland in a way. But it doesn't conjure in me the same feeling that a homeland is supposed to. That is to say, was tired and forgot time existed in a way fast and wow. Yeah, waking up at 10 p.m. though, that's a crazy, like, I guess if you want to, like, stay up all night, you can do that now if you're not tired. Because, wow. You have no idea how many times I imagined it played out in my head. Return to that bloody manor, smashing every little thing in there to bits until there was nothing left. Okay, so you smash everything to bits. Then what? Then we leave. Ismail, we don't care about this place at all. I'm still sleepy enough to go to bed in a few hours. Alright, at least it won't fuck with your sleep schedule then. You really learned nothing from watching what I went through at the lake? I did learn something. If I ever lose the plot and push myself to the brink of no return, I trust that one of you louts will pull me right out of it. Are you giving us permission to beat the sense back into you? Yeah, that's what it takes. Interesting. How far are we allowed to go with bodily harm? Amputation? Nerve mutilation? Ryosu, jeez. Maybe we can at least smack his head really hard? You too, Sinclair, come on. Alright, you cheeky bastards. Seriously, this ain't an invitation to use me as your emotional punching bag. I'm not in the mood to... Still, I think your present self can do this, Heathcliff. Huh? What do you mean by present self? Heathcliff, your present self is deprived. You're poor and you don't have anything left. What? Poor? Right, now you're skipping past the pleasantries and going straight into personal insults, yeah? That's actually a kind of interesting adaptation they're doing here. In the books, Heathcliff wasn't particularly unwealthy. Like, specifically at this point in his life, he had become pretty successful. But here he's still poor, and I wonder how they're going to do that, because that kind of affects his character. Oh, haha, I think you took my words the wrong way. Hung Lu is far from the most talkative sinner, but when he does speak, he usually has something insightful to say. Though since he never says it in a way that's immediately obvious, his words are very prone to misunderstandings. Why are you introducing Hong Lu to me? We've met before. There are 26 hours of cutscenes in this game. I know who he is. In a way, we're all deprived, and that can change a lot of things. Maybe there are things that we can understand only when we're left with nothing. Does that poverty explain our current unsightly lack of colorfulness? Don Quixote looked mournfully at everything around her, then at herself. She sounded like she was about to cry. Oh, well, thanks for correcting how I should have read that. Everything had been drained of color since the moment we entered T-Corp through the back streets. It feels like even more of our colors have been taken away since then. I was wondering when we'd bring that up. Huh, maybe we'll get our colors back soon. We really didn't bring this up in the last Canto, given that, or the last side story, given that it was already in effect by then. Or so I thought, like 10 hours ago. Are we gonna be colorless forever? Are we gonna be stuck in this gloomy hue for the rest of our lives? Seriously, nothing looks tasty in the sepia hue. I'm starting to lose my will to live. Radian, we've been here 10 minutes. Everything's in that sickly brown hue. Guys, even meat looks downright rotten in this color. That's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? Oh, and what about those guys? They've got color in their clothes. With an annoyed look, Roddy adjusted at some people outside the bus. A sufficient amount of payment must be made in order to retrieve your colors. It must be emphasized that this question has been repeatedly answered on 23 separate occasions. Yeah, I thought we had already talked about this. So it wasn't just me being crazy or knowing that I'd already read the wiki and all that. Well, let me have a gander. His coat, his trousers. Ha, that bloke's not even that loaded. He's only trying to come off as though he is. Real tough, spare no cash to get every single color back, even their trivial trinkets like the rims of their glasses. Interesting that the cost of color here is like you have to pay to have the color. I assumed I had to pay to see color. That's a bit more confusing. I don't know how that works. But like, Like, I feel like it's easier to do it the other way, but I guess that's how their technology works. Did you also have to live without color when you lived here, Heathcliff? No, the mannerisms and color, yeah. It was still far from vibrant. Agreed. This was the color of shit. Blood should have remained red. That poor sod's gonna get himself jumped wandering about with that look. That's just enough color to invite the bandits, but not enough to keep him away. Heathcliff's predictions came true soon enough. Several thieves surrounded the bloke who's only trying to come off as though he's loaded, and bashed him in the back of his head. Alright, interesting seeing these guys knowing them to be thieves, because judging by the wrenches and the, like, worker attitudes, when I was doing a trailer analysis of this, I concluded that these were, like, striking workers, given that this is, like, a factory town. So, maybe it's less immoral that we're probably gonna end up fighting these guys. Fie! A bunch of shameless villains they are! Bring on a weak civilian like a pack of hyenas! Are they... What are they what you would call a gang? Just, the gangs of T-Corp have certainly seen better days. I wouldn't even call them a gang, they're just lowlives running out of time. The last time I was here, scum like them couldn't even dare to infest the streets so brazenly. There are gangs that aren't scummy? Curse! The gang I was in would never dogpile on some poor unarmed bloke like that. Everyone wants to vroom vroom, can't vroom vroom with a roadblock. Well, there isn't much point in waiting for the situation to resolve itself. Virgil finally spoke up after quietly listening in on our discussion room for the last few minutes. Take care of him before Don Quixote starts making a fuss about it. Oh, an enactment of justice! I thank thee! He's really starting to get the hang of this, huh? Ha. Alright. Oh, wow. That is actually a really vibrant hat. You can do some interesting stuff with this color design, actually, because you can have some people be in color and some people not. Oh, that's a really great way to make, like, the background characters be really unnoticeable. Alright. Next one, this is going to be the first one that costs us energy, because it is the first combat stage. I have no idea who is and isn't going to be useful here. So for the moment, I'm going to switch back to my technically worse but more liked Faust. Urgent T-Corp gangster. Ah, get away, gits! This one's ours! Looks like you lot are running all on time as well. Tough luck, we only got 30 minutes ourselves. Oh, maybe they're one of the dead rabbits or something. Dead Rabbits, that is a gang that we've heard of from being spoilered by one of them being a recruitable. 30 minutes? 30 minutes for what? For the pizza delivery, Gregor. Impossible, the old Dead Rabbits and their vigilante ways are no more. All they do nowadays is staring at you funny from behind those odd masks. Masks? What are you? Bollocks, we don't got time for this, let's kill them quick. They began rushing us with bloodshot eyes, not giving Heathcliff time to even finish his sentence. Alright, so the Dead Rabbits at one point were vigilantes. Judging by Heathcliff's response to this, I'm betting he was a Dead Rabbit, because we know he was in a gang at some point in his life before he became part of the company. Alright, here we go. First combat encounter. Oi oi, they've got prides and that. Tremor, paralyze, guard. Doesn't seem like they hit particularly hard. No, actually, I'll go for the heavy hit right now. I've got nothing to lose. And strike. Yeah, there we go. That was worth it. Kill one guy on the first strike, whole rest of the fight's gonna be a cakewalk. Alright, we got two people staggered. Nice to be fighting normal people again. Like, I've been doing like a bunch of like the hardest difficulty grinding stages and challenges a whole bunch these last few days, I kind of forgot that a lot of fights you don't need to put, like, an insane amount of thought into your moves. So yeah, this is nothing to worry about. There we go. Okay, though, second wave. And wow, even weaker dude. Scared T-Corp gangster. Yeah, I gotta say, dude, you are correct to be scared. Your situation looks very bad right now. Another one-hit kill. Ooh, magic bullet. Are we gonna get something useful? We hit one of our own guys. Thanks to that one magic bullet striking our own team, I think the damage we're going to take this entire fight is going to be sucked. Oh, that guy also got some hits, so never mind. Still, the majority of damage we took was from ourselves. These guys are completely ineffective. I guess this fight doesn't even matter that we killed them, because apparently they only had 10 minutes left before they were gonna die. At least I'm assuming that, or 30 minutes. At least I'm assuming that that's what that meant. So, like, really all we cost them is, like, I don't know, a bathroom break, maybe a sandwich. Wait a second, I had a level 4 person in my team? Whoops. Wow. This screen's new. We didn't used to have these screens that tell you nothing except what the effective affinity is. And also, wow, okay, yeah, I see why these guys are so weak. This is a difficulty level 25 area, and my guys are between 40 and 41. Wow. It looks like I randomly had an N-Corp Mittelheimer on here, who I believe had no XP before, so they gained 4 levels just from being in the area. You know what? I don't need her at all. Let's just see if this N-Corp Mittelheimer is going to keep leveling up. It's not like I have anything to lose. Oi! Nice hat you got there. Where do you get it? I'm sorry! Please take everything! Take as much time as you want! Use my watch! Overdramatic civilian. Sir Heathcliff! Heathcliff was looming over the man and growling threateningly. He certainly fit the look of a villain for this particular angle. Lass, I was just complimenting him for his sharp fashion choices. The lad's overreacting. This is literally everything I have. I don't got any money for ransom, even if you were to kidnap me. We don't do kidnappings here, if only because Ryosu would just kill the person. She would not care. But please don't kidnap me. I've got family. They're all waiting for me to come home. The man was inadvertently saved from the hands of thieves, was stuttering and screaming incoherently, almost to an unnatural degree. Okay, this is interesting. None of the previous games have really shown us what civilians are like. We've basically only dealt with people in combat. But then the last story had 2 civilians in it, just in a, event, but they were still there. And this one's got this guy, and they were all constantly screaming incoherently and just used to being in total danger. So, is this just what life is like in the city for people who have no combat skills of their own? It seems like it, given that 100% of normal people we've met are like this. And yet we are still not out of the dark alleyways where other thieves might be waiting to get the jump on us. The hell is this racket? Oh? Well, what do we have here? I'm just thinking I've seen loads of time rolling in right in front of us. 10 of your gang members are dead, my guy. 10 minutes! That'll take 5 minutes, too. Hand it over now. What the hell is every fellow here so obsessed with time? You're in time track. What do you think? If you won't give it up willingly, we'll have to kill you all and take that clock for ourselves. That's kind of funny because, we have a clock head. So they're assuming we're probably some kind of T-Corp higher up, given that we're literally carrying around a clock person. Huh? Clock? Wait, me? That's. I wonder if they planned this out all the way back when they came up with this Canto. Alright, yeah, people are just as weak as they were in the previous stage.
적에게 치명상을 입혔거든요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 만큼 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나
So far, none of my predictions about this Canto, aside from that these guys are going to be striking Union people, have been confirmed or denied. So it's kind of a normal combat so far. The stuff about Watts is interesting. I did kind of gather from before that in this place you need to have a Watts for some reason or another, and not having one is dangerous. Which seems to have something to do with them mentioning they have time, as a literal resource that they spend. Wonder if it's like that movie. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but I swear there was a movie that was about a society like that where you spent time as a currency. Makes sense if it worked that way here, given the whole company is based around it. Alright, come on. Once again, hitting our own guys with Magic Bullet. I think I'm just going to stop running Magic Bullet. I don't know why she keeps hitting her own people, but I don't like it. Gotta say, I am very much in the anti-getting punched camp, and I think we should do something about that. We could sub in, though. This isn't an E-gifted place, so live long enough for bleed to have any impact. Oh, hey, it was PM. Nice to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing? Alright. Oh, there's more cutscene. Thought that one was kind of short. Ew. Eek! Doing well. Quiet or you'll attract even more of them to us. Shut your gob right now or feed you to the meat grinder back at our rickety cannibal bus. Is that clear? Jeez, Heathcliff, we're trying to save this guy. For no reason, but still. Then, you're not here to kidnap me? No, for the... What a good sound effect. Yeah, it was pretty good. Eek. No, for the... I don't even know how many times we've told you. Of course not. Indeed, for we are just... blah, blah, blah. She is trying so hard not to say it. The passers-by of justice! Sir Heathcliff here can be rather brutish in his manner of speech, that is all. Right, passers-by of justice. That almost sounds like it could be a gang name, honestly. So why are they asking us for time, not money? But maybe time's just another commodity to be sold and bought here? Guys, is it just me again? The T-Corp pamphlet guy, did no one really... Okay, this mail, again, I'm on the side here. I can't believe nobody else reads the war documents. I don't even get the war documents, and I try my best to read them. Ismail's eyes start to glaze over. Once again, see my listener who bothered to read time track corp. It's a user's time they to the physical currency. The transactions they carry. In the time. Let it slide this time. So this is gonna be a problem. This is one of us who carries a watch. Oh, yeah. Broken wrist watch? I always thought that was a neat fasten statement. Everything is her fasten reasons. It's not a fasten item. It never was. How insolent of you to assume. I assume it's like one of those World War I, like, timing your advances things. Right, I've been meaning to ask, why did I get so freaked out about a kidnapping earlier? Oh, there's a pretty scary rumor of indiscriminate kidnappings going around these T-Corp streets. These are abandoned streets, so when I saw a dozen or so people running together, I was scared you guys might be the infamous kidnapping syndicate or something. We need more details. I want the who, when, where, what, how, and why. Proceed. People who have been going missing around here. This kind of became the last known location for a bunch of missing people. Everyone becomes a sudden during the foggy days because they don't want to get kidnapped. Alright then. Only group I can think of that does this kind of kidnappings is the library, whose whole thing was that they teleport random people into their place, kill them, and steal all their knowledge. But the library should have disbanded somewhere between 3 and 10 years ago, and I feel like we'd have more knowledge if they were coming back here, given how much of a threat they were. Well, look, it's even on the front page of this Times newspaper here. Mysterious kidnapping fear sweeps nest. Not even a single body found. I can keep reading if you want. Mersault, Rania, and Don Quixote began enthusiastically reading the sensationalized titles and the attached articles on the newspaper he showed us. Oh, there's my alarm, reminding me to start streaming. Looks like I beat the alarm this time. For once I didn't start late. Oh, I gotta check out that award-winning eatery. It's not so far from where we are. So the time retrieval fixers have said as such in these interviews. Are you guys even reading the same article? Well, that's right. There's a lot less people around here than I remember. The street used to be packed with workers headed to their factories, jobs, and inventors selling their useless trinkets. It's never been this empty. The empty streets of T-Corp were thick with fog, the bustling crowd from Heathcliff's memories nowhere to be seen. Maybe the lack of color made the fog appear even thicker. This reminds me of the kidnapping rumor we heard when we were working on the Blade lineage case. Wait. Oh, I just want to make sure I read this thing right. I think I might have missed a line. Nope, I didn't. Missing people. Maybe there really is a messed up kidnapping, human trafficking syndicate roaming this area. There could be. That doesn't seem like a weird thing to have. Never heard of such a syndicate strutting about this place, back when I lived here at least. This is a statistical impossibility for a human trafficking syndicate to leave zero evidence behind. There's bound to be one or two they let slip between their fingers. Yeah, I don't know if these guys are just wildly stronger, but we're in a nest. That should be a pretty rich area. It'd be incredible if such a powerful group could form with nobody knowing about it here. Especially if the syndicate is so prolific to the point of indirectly discouraging the public from leaving their homes. A body or two will invariably be found. If they really didn't leave any bodies, then maybe it's worse than just your usual murders. Maybe it'll be more dangerous the more you look into it. If it's not just another violent tragedy, then maybe there's more to this than we think. Maybe there's some powerful organization pulling the strings? You know, there's a lot of conjecture to make just from the fact that no bodies have been found. I'm sorry? Guys, the night in the back streets. A single sweep from those sweepers leaves nothing behind. Every trash in the back streets, including corpses, is completely cleaned up. There we go, that is our second reference in a tiny little bit to the night in the back streets. I am sure that whether it's this Canto or the story afterwards or somewhat soon, we're going to be living through one. Which is super exciting because I love the night in the back streets. I love those guys so much. I have been waiting for them to show up. Like, they're inevitably going to. They're everywhere in the city. It's only a matter of time, but still I'm excited. Right, they clean up even the corpses, yeah.
당연히 쓰레기만 청소하는
Of course, it's kinda scary that they clean up more than just trash. Yeah, the idea of sweepers really freaked Sinclair out for a while. Fuck the back streets. The back streets are cool. Don't fuck them. Also, you'd totally get like a million diseases if you tried. Yeah, the idea of sweepers really freaks Sinclair out for a while. But wait a second. Sweepers can't exist inside of nests. That's something established all the way back in Lobotomy Corporation. If they're in here, that'd be bad. That's because Ronnie kept making funny noises and sweeper impressions at me every night. That sounds very Radiocore. Robotic penis. They might have that. Although, I mean, technically they're not robots. They're slime people who live in suits of armor. Yep, level 4 Radia is just hanging out in the background getting EXP. Also, someone remind me after this next level to do some polls. Mysterious case of missing persons in a street surrounded by thick, heavy fog. It's another fog incident. It's almost as if we're in the middle of some scary urban legend. Not that I'm scared, not at all. Ha ha ha. Don't force yourself to laugh, Sinclair. I don't like this at all. We're so scared so soon after entering the nest. I do not want to think about slime reproductive habits. Yeah, me neither. Can't really imagine how that would work. I'm pretty sure they're manufactured, at least. Because that'd be really gross if they weren't. Don't like this at all. Yeah. Everyone seems to be on edge, thankfully, thanks to the unsettling story we heard earlier. I know what to do. Oh, geez, also it occurs to me that, yeah, this is one of the few groups that actually poses a tangible threat to us. Because, like, if someone dies, we can revive them, but we need the body to revive them. And so if they disappear, then we can't revive. And that is a thing they could do in the game, because they just showed off a half story ago. That they can have us lose party members, not permanently, but that is a legitimate threat. That is actually kind of scary. If that invitation, can you read it aloud for us again? It'll be a good idea to remind ourselves of the current mission. Besides, I could use a refresher myself. Just an invitation, there ain't anything special about it. The neatly folded invitation Heathcliff produced from his pocket completely betrayed his attempt at appearing aloof. It was folded with such tender care that it almost resembled a neat paper craft. He cleared his throat. Ahem! Sometime later. Please honor the invitation with your presence. With great respect, Nellie. Nellie? Nellieson. That's interesting. Because, she is the only character that we had confirmed was going to be in this one, which tells us nothing about when this is set, because Nellie is like the last surviving member of the Heights. Just had to answer a message. I'm back now. And bollocks. You have to be here, Keith. I'll be waiting. Cathy. That seems to imply Cathy's alive. Damn. Oh! This wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I had to read the letter. What are we, a party at some party crowd at some dive bar? Oh, that wasn't what you were going for? I knew that this would happen. I ain't even mad. Besides, all she said is that she'd be waiting. She never said she missed me or wanted to see me. Come on, bud. Just look at the way she wrote it. Here. Let me see. Some sinners gathered in a circle like they're doing a literary analysis of the invitation letter. Maybe I was worrying too much. 3 school kids opening their first love letters. This is the one line I got spoiled on, which is honestly not that bad. Well, were you never interested in those things, Sinclair? think I was. I was a good diligent student. The only thing that I ever cared about were my textbooks and the school lectures. Sinclair, thy countenance appears to be turning rosy again. Oh god, the only person who he could have had any romantic interest in is what, Cromer? That's disgusting to even think about. For the last time, I said it's genetics! What about you, Dante? Oh, never mind. Hey, what's with that oddly sorry look on your face? I'm out here correcting misconceptions. I still don't have enough points needed for this week's topic. What's the assignment this time, Del? Well, what's the situation? Oh wait, I missed that line. The manager, no need for your sympathy. I'm certain that there are those who appreciate their appearance. Glad I didn't miss that one. That's funny. Is it not odd? Why, that someone actually wrote Heathcliff a love letter? Oh my, Yi-sung, that's such a rude thing to say. No, I had no intention of relaying such crass sentences. Dysphoria. That's always a minefield. That's like a topic that when it's like an optional paper for school, even though I know so much about it, I have to avoid being the one who talks about it, because I just know I'll get way too emotional, and that's just not good. Per week, and I only have 890. That's interesting. You've got like weekly assignment quotas, not specific weekly assignments. I had a class that was taught like that. It's a pretty neat system. Oh, I just said fuck it and went ham. You can do that. Is lovely. All for it. Oh yeah. Just kidding, Yi-sung. Just kidding. I was actually thinking the same thing. It's pretty nice. It's abnormal psychology. That's a fascinating class concept. Since we're not looking for a lobotomy corp branch of T-Corp, since we're heading to this Wuthering Heights Manor instead, I suppose that's where we'll find the Golden Bough. That's precisely what I had intended to convey, Miss Ismail. Thank you for bringing that up. I was starting to get tired of being the bringer of unpleasant news. Hopefully, none of you are under the impression that we're heading to Wuthering Heights just because of some invitation Heathcliff received. Because if you are, I will be sorely disappointed. How did they have a bow, though? Right, so we're better off looking at the context he wrote this in, which he's really trying to say here is... No, but you gotta look at the tones he used here. Sir, moving on. 3 people have already said that I made them realize a lot. That's amazing. Yeah, that's what I figured. There's a report from the LCCB that a golden bough had been observed. They narrowed its location to somewhere within the Wuthering Heights Manor. I wonder if the people there are going to talk about that and being like, oh hey, yeah, good to see you. We kind of knew you were coming here because there were some random people with body armor and riot shields who just came barging through our manor looking at our stuff until they found a golden stick we had. Because, like, it feels weird they could scout out that much of somebody's house. But there's a significant risk on account of the manor's unique security system that prevented the Before team from conducting their on-site preliminary survey. The exact location of the bough is yet to be identified. Unique security measures? I'm not sure if I remember anything like that. Right, then that's even more odd. No other ways to put it. Indeed, though I remained ignorant of the monetary value and public perception of its worth, I do know that the golden bough is not an item so easily obtainable that it may be housed in a normal, private manner. Can we say that the golden bough wasn't always located inside the manor? I see, the golden bough was brought from its previous location in an unknown area within T-Corp's Lobotomy Corp branch, has been transferred to the manor for a reason we are yet to be aware of. Half the weeks have been like that. I just don't care, so I usually talk about my experience of stuff and it helps get perspective. That's very good. Hope that that's, like, helpful for a lot of people. I imagine, like, you know, you a lot more about this person would. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Right, then this Catherine person will be a major part of this operation. It is, yeah, and I unfortunately do.
황금 가지를
Have a golden brow all to herself in that manner.
그리고
She's got to be one confident woman, too. Confident enough to imagine Heathcliff would come to the manor just to see her face, even if it wasn't for the golden brow. None of this conversation seemed to even register to Heathcliff, however. Alright, let me know if you see a barber shop or boutique nearby. Says in a tour bus, Heathcliff, we will not make unnecessary stops like the one you suggest. Well, that's just a little bit rude. I think you should let Heathcliff get a haircut. Alright, I get it, then why don't you leave me behind and go on ahead, I'll catch up. You're gonna be late, Heathcliff? That's worse than just not having your hair done. I mean, objectively speaking, you've got a pretty nice haircut right now. So, Heathcliff, I've been watching the shops very closely. We haven't noticed a single open shop. It might be because of the rumors from earlier in the fog. Why don't you just leave it to us, Radia and I? What the hell, you... Wait! Alright, well, that into that story. Sounds good to me. Alright, now, because this is a gacha, I'm not gonna do too much with them, but I'm gonna get a new character. Or at least I'm gonna do one poll. I've still got some tickets, so it's literally free for the first one. That didn't end up... Oh yeah, that wasn't a combat encounter, so it didn't end up costing us any money. We've got plenty of resources. Alright. Just doing 110 pull. Because it's free. Come on. Of interest. We did get something. Alright, we got something there. Wait, I didn't even realize this, but we have a second free 10 pull. Damn, 2 3-stars? Wishing Karain? Person's Radian? Okay, neither one of those things were the actual thing I wanted, but as they're both dramatically rarer than the thing I wanted, I don't even particularly care. Like, you know, whatever. Those two things we won had like a less than, I think they had like a literal 1% chance of appearance. And they're both things that I want. So screw it. I don't even care about getting the new character anymore. Like, look at this now. We got a lot more people who are fully equipped. That sounds all good to me. Alright. Yeah, I might do another poll later, because we do still have a lot more money than the minimum. But still, for now, I'm just going to be happy with that. Oh wait, before I do anything else, did we get a new story bit today? No, we did not. This is like just the menu where you see lore. I always read it off stream, because, you know, it's not super relevant for you guys. It's mostly just like random news. But the important thing is that it is officially all this is happening on November 15th of the year 984, which sounds like it'd be irrelevant, except for the fact that we know that from trailer 1 that on sometime in June of 985 300 million people are going to die. And, like, you know, if you scroll back to the first story arc, it took place in January of 984, so we're now over halfway to this disaster, and we still have no clue what it's gonna be. That's just a little bit of something worrying that I feel like is somewhat relevant to remember. The MDE, as we've started to call it. The bus emerged from the back streets into a rather quiet-looking village. Alright, we've got the village. This is a location in, Wuthering Heights. It wasn't anywhere particularly important, but just there was a village by the manor. Aside from that, there's Thrushcross Grange and, of course, Wuthering Heights itself. Fog was still thick, and everything was still in that faded hue. Even the occasional sightings of pedestrians had ceased. The very idea of color variation seemed like an alien concept here. All you see are orange-hued lights coming from the windows of misty gray buildings. It was as though everyone decided to stay indoors for the day. I can't even tell where we are, how close we are from our destination anymore. Have you been here by chance? by any chance, Yi-sung? He was the only other sinner who had spent a while in T-Corp, so I decided to ask him if he recognized anything. But it was evident the scenery was unfamiliar to him. I resided here for some time. Most of my hours are spent living and conducting my research when I could afford to do so. Thus, I have not ventured freely into the streets of T-Corp. I can't imagine doing any research at a place like this. Can't have been easy. Yeah, like, can you imagine doing science in a place where they're, like, all your equipment is the exact same color? Like, it's not impossible, because I'm sure colorblind scientists exist, but it must be a huge handicap, especially if you're not at all used to operating like that. It is indeed quite manageable once one grows accustomed to the monochromatic light. The presence of variance in color itself is a concept alien to those who are born and raised in these lands, except for the people who can afford it, apparently. And I had soldiers of those who I could lean on, even for a fleeting moment. It helps to have such support when acclimating to a place as foreign as this. Yi-sung looks away to a place far beyond here. Memories of his past, most likely. Did you ever hear anything about what T-Corp singularity is? As all singularities are, its true nature, its mechanisms, and functions are all something of an enigma. Yet, Yi-sung paused and carefully began to speak. This is interesting. We really know the ins and outs of, like, 2, maybe 3 singularities. Very cool to get more on that. I am aware that it has aught to do with time, though I am unsure of its use. We could have guessed that. This whole area is time. Well, I suppose this is all but meaningless conjecture, and only Miss Faust among us must be aware of the answers. Wait, Seed now? I'd imagine this would even be beyond her level. Its singularity is one of the reasons T-Corp constantly drains color from its inhabitants. Aha! By draining all the color from the people, we move back in time to the 1920s before color existed, and we harness that moving back in time in order to create the time travel crisis. Really makes about as much sense as their singularity. What's time got to do with color? If the control of time is so imperative to T-Corp's operations, they must also control the realm of light. As light is a spectrum of colors, these two subjects eventually overlap. That is as far as I could deduce regarding the concept of time that I am aware of. Yet it must also be said that it takes time for me to reach Faust's specific knowledge regarding T-Corp's singularity. Okay, this is interesting here, because sometimes he says I, and sometimes he says Faust in the same sentence. Which, like, you know, using your name as a replacement for I, that's not an uncommon verbal verbal irregularity, but what is uncommon is using both at the same time. Since her main area of expertise is multiverse science, I'm interpreting this as meaning it must also be said it takes time for me to reach Faust's specific knowledge regarding T-Corp singularity, is that somewhere in the multiverse there is T-Corp scientist Faust, and Faust knows this one and talks with her, and that's why she says it takes time for her to reach Faust's level. Faust, known among us for maybe and perhaps, rarely ever gave answers for us this detailed. Then now's the time to ask her all my questions. Miss Faust, as we discuss the subject of time, indeed, it would be safe for us to move on from the subject of T-Corp at this time. God damn it, Faust. Aww. There she goes again, teasing us of stuff she's not going to tell us anyway. Faust, are you kidding me? All the others would be glad she decided to tell us this much. I doubt she'll tell us more, no matter how much we pry. It's crazy how much she acts like she's the boss here, despite being legally our employee. That's kinda sad. That there are people who've never seen colors their whole lives, all because of the singularity. Well, that's just how it goes, isn't it? In the eyes of a stranger, we'd just be another one of those poor, miserable people who's never seen color. That's the danger in trying your very first bite of meat. You've tried it once, you've never unknown the flavor. At the end, you start to wish you never tried it. It's pretty disappointing that even the sun loses its vibrancy here. Oft did I long to see the colors of the sky, especially the sky that looms over a light shower of rain.
그래, 그런
Yeah, things like the color of the sky too. You long to see it only because you've seen its beauty. If you were born here, never to escape its borders till the last of your days without even seeing the blue sky, then I'd hardly call that death miserable. She makes a fair point, but it's like the weird idea that, like, if you never know that good things exist, you'd never be sad, which I guess is true, but it feels like his logic that leads to weird things. Calling even that miserable is nothing but sheltered arrogance. I guess that could also be true. The atmosphere of the bus suddenly became incredibly frosty. What's the best gastronomy of lately? You mean like the best food I've had lately? That'd probably be the salmon around here. I recently went to try some fish in this area, and it is really good. Oh, hey, speaking of color, I got something to ask you. Have you guys ever heard of the colors game? Apparently each type of personality has a corresponding color. Nothing to see if the game, but I need to know. Ah, yeah, fair. Radia, who was also the one that showed the bus in the first place, was also the first to break the ice. Ji-sung enjoys the light blue color of the sky. I don't see. He must be a thinker and a philosopher who prefers the calm and quiet. Ooh, how did you come to know that? That's quite a remarkable talent you have. Hark! I wish my favorite color to be red as well. Forsooth, I quite fancy the color red. Nay, yellow. Nay, red. Nay... Okay, this one's pretty obvious what the meanings are here, because yellow is her color. She's blonde, a lot of her things are yellow colored, she's kind of got a lightning theme sometimes, which is yellow, but also red is the color of Gebera, who's someone that Don Quixote is known to look up to and admire, and her title was literally the Red Mist, so that makes sense for her. Now, wait your turn. Next in the order is Faust. Wait up. I know exactly what you're gonna say. You'll have to say, Faust does not hold much belief in such ideations, or something like that, right? Which is exactly what people like the color white would say. I'm right, aren't I? Like your hair is white too. I will not comment further on this subject. Me? My favorite color? What a stupid question. That's enough, lass. Oh, they're going in number order, and that's why we skipped a whole bunch. But He pauses. A great manor began to emerge in our view from the distance. You can immediately tell this was the Wuthering Heights manor that Heathcliff had mentioned. That's black. It's the color you get when you dump an entire set of paint into a bucket, ain't it? That's exactly why I tolerate it. Keep throwing paint over paint, and you get black. Simple. Redeemed ad time. Well, nobody's redeemed that one before. I'm gonna have to break out the... give me a second. Alright, let me also check what that means. So I can see... Okay, yeah. Ad time... Okay, yeah, ad time is 1 minute. Alrighty. And in that 1 minute, I'm gonna refill my water bottle. But you remember, you guys, you literally asked for this, and therefore you cannot complain. Alright. There we go. If I did everything right there, then you guys should have been in an advertisement for the last little bit. You know, my English is terrible? I don't think that's true. Some days, but it's not. Alright. Let's get back into this. You can clearly hear what Heathcliff is muttering through gritted teeth. I have a feeling that black wasn't always his favorite color. Now let me make sure I'm auto set up now that I'm back from my tiny break. Yeah, everything looks good here. And, let's get back into it. Alright. Having a little bit of lag issue, but not terrible. Just like mediocre. And we're getting plenty of resources from this. And also, God, they aren't having anything cost us money, which is nice of them. Also interesting is that we seem to be going to the heights immediately. I redeemed something that was never redeemed. Wait, I pressed the button. I wonder why I didn't do anything. Let me hit it again. Cause, wait, yeah, that's weird. It says that I have run. What that's supposed to do is it's supposed to send you all into an advertisement for 60 seconds, and the ad has run, and I cannot more ad. It doesn't look like, if you're saying you didn't go into an advertisement, take that as Twit's blessing us all with no ads for some reason. Yeah, what that's supposed to do is it's just supposed to play 3 ads, and then make it so that nobody new who comes in will see pre-roll ads for the next 24 minutes. 2 things changed the moment the Wuthering Heights Manor appeared over the horizon. Mirror. I need a mirror. Anyone got a mirror? Come on, anyone? What has gotten into you, Heathcliff? This mirror isn't... One was Heathcliff, who was suddenly overcome with intense anxiety. It was 15? Yeah, 15 channel points. And the other, whether they grew darker and tempestuous all of a sudden. I think it was 10 originally, but I adjusted it up for inflation, as I do with all my guys in the new year. What a terrifying noise. Was the weather here always this awful? It was always this windy, yeah, almost like a constant tempest. But all this thunder and lightning... Well, the Wuthering Heights was always this awful, thunder or not. It really is one massive manor if it looks this big from far away. Now that's something that diverges from the book. Wuthering Heights was nice, sure, but it wasn't, actually huge. Like, it was even described as being a smaller manor than the neighboring Thrushcross Grange, which there being no reference to at all seemingly suggests they might just be skipping it. Or unless we're going to go there too. Sauron can't see well. Not sure if this is the right place, but we're here. Lightning goes boom, eyes go ow. The manor looks like it came straight out of a dark gothic tale full of mysteries. It was half expecting to hear a thundering cry echo from its windows. So are we just waiting for Virgilus to go off the bus again? Well, hasn't that been the case, Manager Bud? I mean, it's not like we're digging into a lobotomy corp branch or entering one of the wings, right? Just a manor, so I don't see what's stopping him from coming with us. Now, off the bus. Sauron and I, we'll wait outside until we're done if we're missing. None of the sinners were hiding the dissatisfaction of Virgilus. Some of them were even standing with their arms crossed. Reasonable. He doesn't do anything. He is completely worthless. You literally didn't have it this time because he didn't even guide us here. The letter guided us here. He could not be in this canto and the story would be the same. By the looks on your faces, clearly you all collectively have something to say. Of course not. I would hardly ever dare to challenge thee. Well, maybe not every sinner. We've gone through a lot of things, surrounded by various tales and tribulations. Tribulations that could have been easily handled had Virgilus been there with us. So, Virgilus? Looks like Isma decided to step up as our representative. You introduced yourself to us as our guide, didn't you? So what kind of guide just tosses everyone at the start of the journey and goes off on the run with the bus driver? What are you guys even doing? I want to make it clear that I'm not being a hard ass for no good reason. I'm asking you because I want to trust you. After all, we're technically all in the same boat. We're co-workers. I'd say the least you could do is tell us where we're headed. Virgilus held his silence for a moment. His brow were not as furrowed as they usually are, which is the only indication that he wasn't as offended to hear this as I thought he'd be. Just like you sinners who joined this company via your individual contracts, I also signed a contract with specific clauses and conditions I must abide by. Huh? The company made the color most illustrious sign a contract as well? Well, not most illustrious. He's certainly well below Iori, who is well below Gabura, who is roughly on par with Argalia, and that's like every important color. Of course I did. Why would I be babysitting you children on this bus otherwise? I'm not one to work for free. Stupid. I didn't want to bother detailing each and every clause of my contract with you, nor should I. Screw it, Virgilus, you don't get your cool voice anymore. I'm done pretending I like you. Well, this man, I quite like that you use the word trust in your speech, so I believe that you deserve at least a brief explanation. I'm not supposed to retrieve the golden balls myself, nor am I allowed to provide you with my direct support. The contract stipulates that I must leave everything to the manager and the sinners. Why the hell would you sign a contract like that? As always, it's meaningless to ask me why. Contracts are rarely ever fully understood by those that are not a part of it. But what I can tell you is that when I ask you sinners to leave the bus for a mission, I suppose, in a way, I say it with a lighter heart than I used to. I don't care, fuck you. Go die in a hole. I am no longer concerned that in my desire to fulfill the conditions for every clause in my contract, the manager may be irreversibly hurt. I would be left with nothing if such a thing were to happen. Did he just admit to trusting us more than he used to? Like, I don't care. I don't like him. Don't make him repeat something like that, Dante. Especially when somebody went through the trouble of expressing their true hidden feelings. Besides, wait. And to be fair, I do know his backstory. I know that he's all broken up and upset because all his friends keep dying, and all his children get killed by mutants from another dimension, and I don't even care. Everyone in his life dies because he doesn't bother to do anything for them, and he's still not doing anything for anyone. He sucked then, he sucks now, he's always gonna suck. I don't like him and we don't need him. Oh, wait. I am not going in there like this. Nope, can't do this. Oi, turn the bus around. Nymphy doesn't do U-turns. Bollocks, I ain't going back to the manor in these wrinkly rags. Oh yeah, right, every single one of our elaborate plans to dress him up in fancy clothes fell through. Hey, you don't look that bad. Maybe you can borrow Dante's coat, it's pretty nice. If I go back in these rags, those bastards will... Those bastards, who are they? Bastards always humiliate me, eyeing me up and down, trying to find a speck of dust, a single flaw, something. They'll latch on to just to humiliate me. Then gouge out their eyes. You know, Ryosu, for once I agree with you. If you want to just go open season on the manor, I will give you full authorization. Oh, that would be quite the clever solution. But what are you even... Looks like Heathcliff is the only one who's taking this seriously. Who? The hell is... Wait, what was the other reaction? Oh. That would be quite the clever solution, yeah, I thought it was that. What's wrong with the pair of you? Quit giggling like that. Good thing we came prepared for exactly this occasion. I just couldn't imagine Heath managing to pull off this makeover on his own. Friday and I did some shopping in the back streets before we entered the nest. We were waiting to reveal these just in case there was anything more impressive in the nest, but thanks to the pointing lack of anything even remotely interesting, we'll just make do with what we picked up earlier. Alright, hey, that's nice of them. No one's actually pulling through for good old Heath. I like that. I like these guys. Wait a bloody second. With the two of you went off on your own, now all you brought back was a whole basket of cookies, wasn't it? Those cookies were decoy cookies, Heath! Though some of them did end up as part of my daily sustenance, of course. Well, I couldn't find a particular brands I used back home. These should be more than enough for a proper fashion makeover. Come on, can't we just keep things nice and happy for once? Let him wear something else other than his uniform, just for today. Wait a second, I know what we could do. We have access to the multiverse machine, and there is one universe that is a very fancy looking Heathcliff. Can't we just swap the Heathcliffs for today? Just bring in the guy from the universe where he is rich. Nothing to worry about then. We'd be fine. No one wants to meet the road flame while wearing their work clothes, right? Well, I doubt the guy will ever let anything like that slide. Fine. But what? I would prefer if we didn't have to encourage another rogue incident with the back door. Seriously, guide! Heathcliff trembled like he was about to give Virgilus a big hug. Now, Heathcliff, close your eyes. Relax and let us take care of everything. Pretend you're at the proverbial peach blossom spring. Wait, don't you touch my hair like... Whoa. Boy, you ain't half bad. Shh. Heathcliff's getting a makeover. Wow, there's never been CB in this game yet. Sometime later. Whoa, Heathcliff, my man. I'm glad nobody spoiled me on this. He looks... Wow. I think you might have overdone it with the hair. No, I think this looks good. I have no complaints. Can we get this like a permanent alternate Heathcliff costume? I like you like this. Don't touch it. Do you have any idea how long Hong Wu worked on that? Where does Bat go? It's a reunion of the century. We can't possibly let him say hello to his old flame with a big Brutus club in his hand. Sir Heathcliff appeared a tad more merciful than usual. Mayhaps he shall accept my request and implore him to purchase me a pintful of ice cream. He no longer looks like he's on the verge of punching me when I make the smallest of noises. Lad, please, don't bring up anything remotely like that in front of Catherine. Well, I'll be. Clothes really do make the man. Do let me know how this reunion goes. I'll be looking forward to hearing that tale. Sir. So, Heathcliff. I would mean to ask him this question, but for a while I wanted to know the answer, but I couldn't bring myself to ask him. Why do you leave Wuthering Heights? It's where the love of your life lives, isn't it? Heathcliff, who had been busily moving around, preparing to leave the bus, suddenly comes to a halt. I didn't mind it, the thrashings, the starvings, the abuse, them treating me like my servant, like I'm something beneath them. I didn't mind being treated like I'm nothing more than an afterthought, like I'm some impure trash to be discarded. When I heard what Catherine said, I realized I had no longer had any reason to remain in that matter. Heathcliff did not elaborate further. Perhaps it wasn't that he didn't, but that he couldn't bring himself to. I didn't dare ask him what he was about to say, so he simply nodded in response. I see. Oh, Sharon's got something to say about your new fit. Sharon has something to say, something big. Great, awesome. Now, Sharon, what do you think? Looks oily and greasy. Sharon doesn't like greasy. This isn't how I thought it'd go. Sharon's 2 words must have hit him hard. It took away a bit of convincing for Heathcliff, who was severely discouraged by Sharon's remark to exit the bus. Shut the fuck up, Sharon. He looks great. I honestly really like this new Heathcliff design. I'm sure we're going to go right back at the end of the Canto, but maybe they'll use it again. It's not like this game has a lot of sprites. I don't think we've ever actually gotten a temporary Canto redesign before. Wow, we are... Also, this has gotten to be a decently long stream already. We're at, what, hour 12? I'll keep going. I might do one poll. I know I said I'd be satisfied, but I am a gambling addict. Okay, no. This was nothing. Never mind. I'll try to get the new ID for Heath. Which one's Heath? He's got the 14. Okay. Oh, but no, it's not a Heath. It's her, which is still very low. But either way. Actually, I do have Sue today. I might just do one more level, and then I'll do the next stream again soon. Just, this is uncomfortable. Oi, isn't normal for these clothes to squeeze harder every step I take? That's what it means to maintain an air of dignity. Once you get used to that feeling, you'll feel like you're missing something whenever you're dressed casually. This must be the front gate to your former place of abode, Heathcliff. Yeah, it doesn't exactly look like a nice place. The massive gate alone feels downright intimidating. That's one big front door. It is known that in certain regions of the city, the size of the front gate is an indicator of one's social standing. The magnitude of this front gate indicates the owner of this home is very affluent. Heathcliff, you picked on Hong Lu for being a rich kid when you yourself were raised in some huge mansion. He was a servant, Ismail. That's not his fault. I don't mind at all. Feeling a bit betrayed, actually. Sir Heathcliff, they are apparently quite different today. Keep your stupid comments to yourselves. Some were teasing him, and some were genuinely surprised, but it didn't matter to Heathcliff. Every word he spat out was dripping with venomous spite. I wasn't even remotely close to being rich. I was never once rich in this manner. I wasn't allowed to be content, not even for a moment. This manor never accepted me, not even for a... But what the hell? A lightning strike. It seems to have struck an area near the forest. I was so loud. It's okay, I heard it's extremely rare for lightning to actually hit people. A momentary musing reveals that the strike of lightning brings about a sensation that's not unlike the joy of fireworks. It fills the dark and cold void of the night sky with an incandescent brilliance, even for a brief moment, before fading away into oblivion. Right, in exchange it loses everything it has, burning and leaving nothing but ash behind. And not even like a cool ass. Not even like a Ketchum. But joy is there to be found. You could hear some forest critters fleeing, spooked by the thunderstrike. Ooh, behold a tiny squirrel over yonder! Oh, such nature so close to home. I didn't know you used to live in such an eco-friendly space. I suppose I wouldn't have to go through the trouble of building a private zoo if I lived at a place like this. Damn, hungry at a zoo. Have a garden or forest so near their home, even if we're to ignore everything else, that alone indicates the owner is someone of unimaginable affluence. That's fascinating. Yeah, I guess that makes sense in such a dense city, though, that, like, yeah, having an actual bit of wildlife would be a marker of wealth. Right, I remember this enclosed home was in the middle of a forest, too. Squirrels, sir, there are other animals roaming about it, too. Sometimes, when I was so miserable that I could hardly bear to even be in that manner, we go to the forest and not return for a long, long time. That one's book accurate. Oh, and this tiny forest friend, little Sir Squirrel, must have been quite the jolly companion for thee. Little Squirrel! Holy crap. The little squirrel that may have once been Heathcliff's tiny forest friend was immediately scorched to a pile of ash the moment it crossed over the manor's front gate. That was a weird lightning strike. Did it just curve mid-air? The chance of such occurrence is extraordinarily low. It might be that I'm overreacting, but it looks like that lightning was curving itself to strike exactly where that squirrel was standing. Whoa, Heathcliff, I had no idea you grew up in such a dangerous place. I'm impressed you even survived. Don't blind me, I've not seen anything like it. Right, Heathcliff, ready to knock on the front gate? The front gate. He stared blankly at the front gate of the manor. I've not knocked on this gate in a good many years. Everyone said to wait out here for hours because they all refused to let me in. Everyone except Catherine, who snuck out of the manor to open it for me. That also happened in the book. Alright, that is an instance of book-accurate adaptation. Walking through the heavy rain. Well then, I'm sure it won't be different this time. If I knock, Catherine will come out and let me in. Yep. He takes a deep breath before knocking on the front door. Huh, nothing. That's not what I meant when I said it won't be different this time. Or we can try climbing over the fence. I think we can clear that height as long as we're okay with breaking our ankles. No. Heathcliff was a whole bundle of anxiety before he knocked over the front gate, but perhaps the perceived slight reverted Heathcliff into his usual, more angry self. Yeah, that'd do it. I was invited to this manor. The invitation would be meaningless if I had to leap over the fence. Catherine, I'm back! I ignored you once. Continuing to say it won't. Catherine! Despite his efforts, not a single soul stirred beyond the front gate. None of us really believed that anyone would come out to greet him. But... Kath! The front gate began to creak open as if someone was answering his pleas. The makeover was worth it, Alright, we made it into the manor. Maybe I'll do one more, just because I'm really curious. Like, really what I want to know, and I don't want to have spoiled for me, is the status of Catherine. Is she alive or dead? Because I have been very firmly in the Catherine lives camp. And I would like to know for sure. Nelly. The heavy rain and the tempest only grew harsher as we got closer to the manor. The closer we got to the manor. Till we have long made it past the front gate, not a soul doth appear. The bubbling excitement of the sinners when they disembarked the bus had all but disappeared. Silent air of apprehension surrounded them as they gingerly took their hesitant steps toward the manor. Cathy! Have you been well? No, Catherine, it's been a while, hasn't it? No, that ain't it either. Amidst the awe of uneasiness, only Heathcliff seemed to be preoccupied by something else. The rest of the sinners were... Did you catch that? A bird. A subspecies of sparrows, to be exact. Lightning continues to strike aggressively, even this far past the front gate. It would have been burnt to a crisp if it had struck even a little closer. Lightning continued to blast the earth as though we couldn't be satisfied until it reduced every living thing in this manor ground to a pile of ashes. It's gonna hit us if we walk faster. Maybe this idiot things that are moving too slowly. Maybe we should speed up. I don't know. Our walking speed seems to be irrelevant. It's almost as if this lightning has a will of its own, striking with intent. This brings back some unpleasant memories. Oh, maybe it's like this house's defense system. Defense system? Did you imply this may be part of the manor's security measures? Maybe it only targets things that enter the manor grounds without permission. I've seen security measures that are more precise and more conclusive than this. Larger manors do often install more effective security systems, after all. Oh, I think our family kept talking about installing a defense system at our home, too. It's one of those topics that kept coming up during dinner. That would make sense, not that I'll ever understand the thought process behind these systems. Perhaps the security measures that prevented the before team from entering the manor, maybe. Yeah, but we have the invitation with us. I think we'll be just fine. You did just invite Heathcliff, though. I don't think they knew that Heathcliff is part of a team that steals their shit. Is that really all this is? Is this one of those normal security measures that every rich family supposedly has? This is pretty interesting, though. Yeah, I heard the technology that changed the weather itself is really, really expensive to the point of being inefficient. So expensive that I've not seen it myself. Wow. I mean, silent because I didn't want to concern the sinners or something I wasn't sure about. The closer I got to the manor, the more confident I became that something was off. This extremely abnormal weather isn't the work of some security system. It's the work of a ghost! This absolutely has something to do with a golden bough. That makes the most sense, I think. There's some kind of in-house system from the borough or whatever other resource is just twisting the area around it. Because we've known that one thing golden boroughs can do is twist and impact the place they're in. The idea that it's intensifying the weather and even splashing out with it could be something like a Carmen in the bow, just mindlessly hitting anything she can. But, oh wait, it's lagging. Nope, the golden bough feels different from the ones we've encountered before. It's a bit more chaotic. Oh, these flowers. They've got color. Yeah, I was gonna say. And Cora was right. The manor's garden was brightly littered with flowers. They're the only thing of color in this dreary sight. Wonder what these flowers are called. I guess you can return the colors to flowers if you cough up enough gas. Indeed. And the proprietor of this manor must have had a particular love for these flowers. He returned the color to such transient things as flowers. Or perhaps it may simply be they're preposterously affluent. Eva quietly gazed at the patch of these violet flowers as Esau mused out loud. You're wrong. There was no particular love for these flowers. There was no room, no warmth in the heart to spare for mere flowers. He appeared so doleful that I could feel as though he had built a tall, opaque wall between himself and the world. I could not bring myself to ask further. He did not tell us the name of those flowers. Oh my, please come this way! Hi, Nellie. Someone hurried this way from the manor's front door, holding a lantern. What an awful weather, Well, T-Corp is the Wuthering Heights manor is rarely ever sunny, but this is quite the storm. Alright, Nellie looks interesting. Because if we are in the post-Catherine's death part of the story, she would be elderly here, but she's distinctly young. Long time no see, Nellie. My word, Heathcliff, is that you? It really is you. Yeah. You haven't the slightest idea how worried I was since you left. Have you been eating well? You've not been bullied by a rough crowd, have you? Bullied by a what? We've wanted to hear from you for so long. Do come in now, come in. This Nellie regarded us with a curious look, as though she didn't quite understand who we were supposed to be. If I may be so bold as to presume, would you happen to be our dear Heathcliff's friends? Yeah, well, friends, are we? The answer to that question hinges on the range of affinity that one would define as a delineation that separates friends from acquaintances. Closer friends, Press's friendship, fortune fire. Multiple fires, actually. One really big one, a Manson. Your dear Heathcliff's Press's friends are about to freeze to death in the rain, woman. My, what honorable guests I welcome to this place today. Must be all over the place to leave you all standing in the rain. Come in now, come in. It's a tad warmer in here than it is outside. Okay, now this is also kind of interesting. Nellie seems like a nice person. In the books, she was fine, but she wasn't particularly kind, and she didn't like Heathcliff. The interior of Wuthering Heights is rather dark, yet this manor doth have color. Its hue appeared a tad faded from the original vibrancy, but there was color in this manor. Wow, that's really pretty. I really like Heathcliff now. Told you I could see color inside the manor. Well, it's all bought by money anyway. Believe it or not, there's something about these lanterns hanging in the manor that brings back color. The lanterns returned the object's original situation. These are quite expensive luxuries, are they not? Still doesn't bring all the colors back. Things still remain a tad gloomy. So where's Cathy? Heathcliff, please tell me of where your life is. Where have you life since you left us? Where have you been staying? Have you been eating well? My, have you lost weight? I'm glad the wait wasn't too substantial. We've all been waiting for your arrival. We? Now, let me get a better look at you. The fine dress, the clothes. You've certainly grown into a right proper gentleman, haven't you? Quite the popular one you are, with a posse of friends and all. Well, did I? But of course, I wouldn't have recognized you from a distance. I was talking so fast, Heathcliff wasn't even spared a second to get in a single word. Nellie, was it? What is your precise relation to Heathcliff? As his precious friend, colleague, comrade in arms, cannot be curious how you two know each other. Can I help but be curious? Otis, who was conspicuously scanning the interiors of the manor, suddenly asked Nellie the most transparently suspicious question I've ever heard. I'm with Heathcliff's house. Did I put this? Nanny, I suppose? Nanny? Like, you wipe Heathcliff's not change his bathing clothes. Am I thinking of the right nanny? And when the baby's fussy about food, Nanny spoon-feed it to them. Nellie, quit teasing me like that. You weren't exactly my nanny, and you know that. We've known each other since we were both young. I didn't treat her like a servant or follow her around like she was my nanny. Mind you, I'm now the chief butler of the house. You see the other butlers moving around like soldiers when I give the word. Well, you were the best at your job. I've grown quite impatient, so I've got to ask. Even must have wanted so badly to ask where Cathy was. So, when's the banquet starting? Tell me where she is! Said he hid his true question behind a mask of aloofness. But, his expression became somewhat odd upon hearing Heathcliff's query. The banquet. Well then, where's that Whitworth Brigade coming? Is he even on the way? We can't leave the gatherings us all down here. I'll have to sit on any second longer next to these mugs, I'm gonna lose it. There was a furious voice echoing from down the halls. Nellie, wait, I recognize that voice. Why, don't rush, he just arrived, mind you. Let's join the others, Heathcliff. Like I said, we've all been waiting for your arrival. Heathcliff bit his lips anxiously and followed Nellie. This doesn't feel at all like a manor that's about to throw a party. Yeah, the cruise ship party, this manor. You can't hide the rising sense of dread from places like these. Doesn't matter how hard you try. This manor does not appear to have been in a place where liveliness an expected element. We see signs of rust cleaning conducted immediately before the guests arrive. Several cracks and areas in need of repair have been identified as well. Marcel, love you for that. You're great. Also, I was scanned expecting a Ross's party, yet this is quite the depressing presentation. I followed Don Quixote to the halls. He appeared terribly disappointed. Hey, come on. Cathy, alive or dead? Give me an answer. Living? Dead? One of the two? Somewhere in between? Half dead? Ghost? Tell me. Distortion? Aberration? Speculata? Okay, there's a fight here. I think this makes sense at the topic level, whether we get it or not. 6-9, this is a little more than halfway through. And it'll be our first battle of the manor. It'd be cool to figure out what the base enemy is, though I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the servants. Two people sat by a dying hearth, surrounded by their respective posse. It was quite apparent from the way they sat opposite one another that their relationship was far from amicable. On one end, there was a group of people dressed in mysterious masks. Oh? Surrounding a jumpy-looking man who looked like he was one edge away from hollering foul insults at everyone. At the other end was a group dressed in identical uniforms. Sinclair told me they were wearing the outfit that most manor employees wear to each other. One of them stood out as he was the only one among them in a black suit. He appeared somewhat uncomfortable, as though he was in a great deal of pain merely by being here. And between the two groups were... Fixers! I recognize their outfits! Forsooth, these must be fixers from the Orphy Association! It's quite rare to even get a sight of a single Oomphy fixer. They require quite the momentous occasion to even grace us with a presence. So I've time to ask for autographs later, alright? I had to coax Don Quixote, who was practically quivering, from immediately running to them for signatures. Because we had unintentionally become the center of attention for the entire room. The center of a very negative attention. Josephine? By gum, the vagabonds have returned, the bloody same of Wuthering Heights. Same old Josephine, huh? Yeah, I remember. Look at him strutting about like he owns the place. If our mistress were to witness this tragedy. Gosh, Josephine, that is quite enough. Alright, she seems to be alive. Don't mind her, Heathcliff. This blessed Wuthering Heights reduced to a tragic tale. Oh no, she's dead, ain't she? Reduced to an asylum for vagrants and drifters. If the mistress had been here to witness this tragic, deplorable state of affairs. The old woman in the room was muttering some choice words at us while staring at us with eyes full of hatred. Ah, the witless brigand returns, and quite delayed at that. How dare you sell your face? Henley, please exercise some restraint. Heathcliff, I hardly did expect your return. You have yet to let Catherine go, still? Clearly the two had been acquainted with Heathcliff for quite a while. By nature of their acquaintance was no more than a long-standing hatred stemming from the deep history of contention they shared. One of the two was hardly hiding his hatred, allowing it to fully seize control of his words and actions. But the other's hatred had sunk deep into his heart, boiling and writhing underneath. Ha! Right, I wasn't expecting a grand welcome upon my return. But I ain't here to see your ugly mugs. It's like you always said, my base nature is just incapable of change. He suits back with his eyes just as much vitriol. As always, he was used to this kind of scorn and humiliation. The man in the black suit turns away as though he would degrade him to even entertain him with an answer. But this man they called Hindley, you unscrumptious sight, you bloody animal, nay, a lesser thing than this heaven's beast! Jumped up in his seat, his face turning bright red from anger. By the looks of it, you found a band of vagrants and vagabonds just like you, eh? Crawling back to see if there's something worth pilfering from this place? You're not wrong. We are here to take your set. We are going to be looting you. Heathcliff's not here to do that, but that is what the rest of us here. We are looting you. Please do not resist. You lot beat his arse and teach him a lesson, break a bone or two! No orders from boss. Said it! I'm your boss's boss! I heard him and the rest of you! I don't expect these boneheaded fools to give you much trouble anyway! Head of bone? What on earth is that fellow speaking of? He's expressing his desire to get his ass beat. Well, since he asked for it. Alright. Seems like Catherine is either dead or not here at the moment. We've got Hindley as the boss of some kind of gang. Other guy owning the Heights, and they're having some form of meeting. Let's see. Okay, yep, these are the dead rabbits, as anticipated. Which is unfortunate, because they seemed like they were better people in, Heathcliff's time. Alright, bad rabbits do not appear to be tough. Seem to be, if I have to be completely honest, a few pretty bad. They also seem to be rabbits. Yeah, this does not look dangerous at all. We can just win right the final strike. Oh, I should check what skills they have though. They do rupture, some bleed, paralyze. They're mostly a rupture team. That was a waste. We could have used that to one-hit kill somebody with wave 2. Also, I should have removed magic bullet by now. Oh, didn't fail that time. Always bad, just hit or miss. Okay, we're not fighting him this turn, but we are just killing, I believe this is going to be our 30th person to kill in this Canto. I don't usually keep a log of this, but it's kind of interesting to get that determined. Just how much actual damage we do. So far, all the enemies have been criminals, which is honestly kind of interesting because for the most part, I'd expect us to be killing more like normal people. Been a little while since I had like a proper evil storyline. Alright, well, in any case, we're about to wrap it up. Oh wait, these guys aren't actually dying, they're running away. Alright, so these guys have survived. This looks to be some kind of meeting. Huh. Good. Now separate the bones from your flesh and introduce you to your own skull. Alright, lads! Casually yet powerful voice boomed across the hall, immediately breaking the tension in the room. I was gone for just a minute to get some water. What the hell happened here? There's one big feckin' manor, eh? I didn't faster go bucket a cup of water from the well myself. Boss, we have a guest. Well, that's their boss. Yes, executive manager is immediately obvious from the way he walks and the way he carries himself that he's somewhat quite experienced in combat. Right on this time, your lackeys are lacking. How could I let this group of no-name hooligans knock them on their asses? Go on, settle on the meaning of pain. Looks like I've got to give my men some proper demonstration. The boss confidently strode towards Heathcliff. Then, give him a playful smack on the back of the head. On! Then the first thing you do when crawling back to your neighborhood to give a quick hello to your dear old boss? Where do you leave your manners? Huh? You bloody well, wipe that stupefied look from your face and come and bow before him. Go on, hurry up, show him some respect. Huh? No, it can't be. They walked past both the aftermath of the brawl and the heavy tension that filled the manor like he was out on a stroll. He just walked in the middle of it all and picked up his arm and put it around Heathcliff's shoulder. It's kind of friendly gesture that one who had known Heathcliff for a long, long time could do. Alright, that's interesting. It appears it'll be at least partially about his gang. Well, for the moment, though, I think I'm going to end off the stream here. As we got through this part of the game so far without ever actually using Heathcliff, it was a little bit silly, but given that the next level doesn't have any combat, that's not something we're rectifying now. Alright. Yep, I think we're going to end it off here. Thank y'all very much for watching. And now, I think I will raid you all into the company of one of my friends. Someone who I mod for, who is indeed, yep, still streaming. Let's go and give a very warm welcome to /raid Jaden Story CH. Alright. My next stream is going to be extremely soon. Probably like day after tomorrow, somewhere around that department. And yeah, that should be it. Alright, thank y'all. Goodbye.